Thank you so much. Good morning. It's a real pleasure to be here, especially as an alumni of London Business School. And I'm not going to tell you when I graduated. It wasn't this century. I'm going to talk about a little bit of reinventing finance one startup at a time. Tell you a little bit about the trends in the industry, what's happening in the industry, what changes are going on. Give you a little bit insight on some of the companies that are at the heart of the change. And also give you a flavor for why we at Anthemis feel so excited about the future of financial services. A little bit, before I start off, a little bit about myself and Anthemis. And I'm going to tell you a story from about 3 years ago. I was in a large corporate job, big title, $1 billion P&L, 6,000 people, 54 countries. And I was feeling very good, a nice corner office. And one day I was sitting at a home office working away, and I overheard this conversation between my son, Hadi, who was 6-year-old at the time, and his friend Joshua. Joshua asked Hadi, "What does your father do?" And my son very eloquently responded, "I don't know." He talks on the phone, throws paper around, and in between plays on his computer. Resisting the urge to really jump out of my chair and go, it made me think. And on reflection, what I realized, what he was actually observing was that I was sitting in the middle of a big bureaucratic organization, which was moving very, very slowly. Nothing really changed day to day, and innovation got killed on arrival, right? So from there, my corporate career, which started in New York about 20 years ago, on Wall Street, ended up finishing in Basildon, Essex. I met a few partners. We founded Anthemis Group, which is really a meta startup, which is focused, at the core of it, focused on investing in other startups. Every startup has a vision, a grand vision. Our grand vision is to be the 21st century version of Berkshire Hathaway and reinventing finance one startup at a time over 10, 20, 30 years. If you are interested in the history of macroeconomics, Perez's book becomes well recommended. And her basic thesis is that we go through a technology evolution every 50 to 60 years. And each time this technology evolution happens, society gets out of kink. It sort of kind of goes through a phase where technology and society doesn't really align itself well, right? And it goes through a phase, you go through a period of alignment. And when the alignment happens, that one reaches to a golden era until, of course, the next technology change comes through. If you think about where we are today, a lot of the institutions, our political institutions, our corporate institutions, our thought process, our leadership thinking is based on what happened in 1908, the big institution, big organization, lots of hierarchy, economies of scale, scarcity of information. It started changing that. That changed in 1971 when Intel came up with the CPU, and first CPU was invented with a chip, right? And that led to what we believe is the start of the information economy. Lots of, at the heart of it is a lot of change going on, and we believe this is a transformational change, and why the world is struggling right now, because we're going through another transformation, and society is trying very hard to catch up. Lots of data, democratization of information, and data is becoming a new type of raw material on par with capital and labor, and we are producing tons of it. More data produced in the last 5 years than the entire civilization up to 2003. So a fundamental shift in how corporations are optimized. We are moving away from a very vertical integrated corporation, where lots of, example, like a bank, which was providing a service to everything, was servicing the customer and providing all the services from within the institution, to a very horizontal model, where as a consumer, you are buying, and buying at what price, what time, and how you want to buy it from a very specialized service industry, right? Someone very specialized focus on providing that particular service at that particular time. Lots of trends going on, and these trends have been around a while in many industries, but coming slowly to the financial service industry. Amplification, crowdsourcing, big data. Consumerization. For the first time in history, the consumer is at the heart of innovation, is actually the primary driver of innovation, unlike most times where it was the big corporations and the government agencies that were driving innovation. For the first time, it's the consumer at the heart of it. Everything as a service. Everything is moving to the cloud. Risk management as a service. FX as a service. Payments as a service. So everyone is accessing this as a need basis on a very different cost parameter than was available until very recently. These trends are slowly coming to the financial industry, as I said before, and there are reasons for that, right? There's lots of barriers in the financial industry, and people have been struggling with that, but slowly things are changing. And the price is very, very high. The price of change is very high, and there's fantastic amount of innovation going on in the industry. And these are just a sample of just a few. There's hundreds of companies doing all kinds of things, and I'll try to highlight some of them. As a disclaimer, we invest in some of these companies, not all of them yet, but we do invest in some. So the consumer experience has become very powerful. How do you engage the consumer? Being very powerful. One of the best examples we have is Fido Bank. This is a fully regulated bank based in Germany. It has one account. On one account, you can do 140 currencies. So imagine that. Go to Barclays, try to open a sterling account, and ask them for a euro account, and wait for a while, and then see if you get that. 140 currencies. In the same account, you can invest in commodities, gold, platinum, silver. You invest, and they hold it for you in a Swiss vault somewhere. In the same account, you can hold your virtual currencies between, whether it's your Amazon points or your Facebook credits. In the same account, you can do peer-to-peer lending to your other consumers. This is an organization with 50,000 consumers to date, which is run from entire stack, from their operations, marketing, IT, development, regulatory stuff, CEO, board member, 35 people. They wanted to launch a new savings product. They crowdsourced a product from their consumer base, and they got about 4,000 ideas within 48 hours. They paid 10 euro cents per idea to the folks presenting the idea, and within 3 weeks they launched a completely new, brand new savings product, which had an uptake of 80% from the consumer base. Imagine that if you're working for a bank. Really interesting. The world between real currency and virtual currency. These are just demographics around some of what's happening in the euros, and 332 million people, 800 million people using Facebook credits on Facebook. What would happen if Facebook credits can buy real things in the world? What would happen to the way we operate and the way we think about currencies and real and virtual? Bank Simple is based out of New York. Very simple concept. They are, very, very sophisticated technology and analytics behind it. It really is a meta bank, which provides a marketplace for other banks to provide their financial products to the consumer base. It is, kind of really using sophisticated analytics and really focus on the consumer experience of how people interact with the bank. It has been around for about 2 years. They've been doing a lot of development and testing of the platform, about to launch, and there are 90,000 people waiting to sign up. Actively on their waiting list. They have a closed waiting list right now, and there's 90,000 people already lined up. Imagine trying to go and open a bank account. You don't see 90,000 people waiting to open a bank account with any of the high street banks. Gamification is becoming a big thing, especially in financial literacy. One of the best examples out there is some company called PayPerks. This was founded by two graduates from Columbia. It's really a focus on education and loyalty. 1 minute? 2 minutes. I'll speed up. So they focus on education and loyalty, and really trying to get people to transact better in the financial services world, really focus on the unbanked, really. And so what they're trying to do is educate people. In the process of educating people, people learn about the product, they earn points, and then they have very specific loyalty mechanisms to get people to use those points in a way that is really relevant to them. I'm going to try and skip through some of this stuff, and maybe skip through Payoff, which is really another company focused on a games mechanic to motivate and reward people to help them achieve their financial goals. Information is not confined to institutions anymore. A great example is StockTwits. It's a social microblog, around the stock market. Where as a investor, you can reach out to the wide consumer base of very smart people and try to get ideas about a portfolio and get. So 4 minutes.
Yeah, apparently.
You like it now. Thank you.
I want some stock tricks.
I'll just skip Payoff. They'll be unhappy with me. So StockTwits, it's a fantastic. So imagine, so you have a portfolio, you can get into a wide set of consumer base outside, in a wide audience, get very smart people to comment on your portfolio and give you really sound advice, and you can invest on that advice. Imagine what happens to the Bloomberg terminal in that context, right? Estimize is another similar kind of thing. It's a crowdsourcing application for earning predictions. Lots of folks out there providing earning predictions. Mostly when they do that, it's limited to 40 to 60 analysts out there. What Estimize does is kind of, again, reaches out to a very wide community, gets their estimates and ranks them. Interesting enough, the top best-known industry analysts from the investment banking side do not come into the top 20 of their rankings in terms of accuracy. Application, the story wouldn't be complete without mobile. Mobank is a organization based in the UK. They're really focused on providing mobile infrastructure for payments and commerce. They're really trying to working with the high street banks to try and to bring the experience of the internet to the mobile in a very specific way designed to make the user experience on the mobile very effective. And what they're doing is, kind of when the high street brand has transformed this thing to using their application, the amount of transactions and the volume of transactions in terms of both dollar and kind of size has gone up dramatically. Square is the big darling in the industry right now. They are really trying to tackle the point-of-sale terminal space and reinvent the point-of-sale terminal space. They have already $1 billion valuation, and I skipped my last video. I'm going to play this one. Still have time, right?
Just having the little square that plugs into the phone is perfect because at a live show, people oftentimes don't have cash, which was our only method of payment before. I would say at least 20% of a crowd at any given show would have requested some kind of card payment in the past, and those are sales that we generally lost. We've seen a huge increase. On the last tour, I think we did several $1,000s in sales that we probably just completely would not have had before. People actually think it's a really novel concept. They love signing with their finger. They love getting an email receipt, and they feel like they're part of a new futuristic form of payment.
So the US is a hardware play. We believe in the rest of the world to be a software play, but lots going on in the industry, really reinventing what was a really traditional industry that hasn't changed in decades. Almost coming here, I'm really won't go into the details of this slide, but really the competitive advantage that's fundamentally changing between the twin economy model, right? Between what was the information economy versus the industrial economy, and there's a lot of change going on. And it's not that people in large organizations don't get it, right? They actually do get it. They understand it. They understand they can see it. They can feel it. But change is hard. It's hard to change it. How do you transform an organization? How do you transform a company that's making lots of money from the status quo? How do you make it change? So that's where the struggle is. At the end, really, we at Antimus are quite proud to be playing a small role in transforming the industry. Things won't change overnight. Things will be slower than we would like them to be. But we are really looking at the industry and think it'll be a very transformed industry in 5 years' time. It's very exciting times, and we're very excited to be part of it. And thank you for your time.